The pick is in.
With the third pick, the New York Giants select Abdul Carter, edge Penn State. Let's bring in Locked On Giants host Patty Traina to break that pick down. So, Patty, just about every mock draft, especially the last few weeks, had Carter going to the Giants. But for you, was this the right pick in essentially a do or die year for head coach Brian Daboll and GM Joe Schoen?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the last thing you want to see them do is reach for a player, specifically a quarterback, even though they desperately need a quarterback. The last thing you want to do is reach for one because, look, that's what got them into this mess to begin with. If you go back to 2019 with them reaching for Daniel Jones at pick number 6. So absolutely, you go best available. You help that defense, which, by the way, wasn't horrible last year, but it could use a little bit more firepower. And now they've got that in Abdul Carter.
And put a pin in that one, Patty, because I am coming back to that question around the position of quarterback. But as you mentioned with Carter, an outstanding pass rusher, elite initial quickness, what's the biggest upside for you that he brings to this Giants defense?
Position flexibility. I mean, this is a guy who last year played on the end, defensive end, and he was very dominant, but he also could play off-ball linebacker. So there's any number of ways that I think the defensive coordinator Shane Bowen can deploy him. You know, he could have people ask me all the time, can they get him and Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns on the field at the same time? I think the answer is yes. They can do an amoeba defense. They can have, replace Micah McFadden with Carter on obvious pass rushing downs. So there's so many ways I think that they can do it. It's just a matter of how creative Shane Bowen can get.
And also how much would Shane Bowen appreciate, and I'm sure will appreciate having that many tools in the toolkit to be able to use on the defensive side of the ball and really for those guys to be able to get after the passer. Now, Patty, no matter what the Giants did with the number 3 pick, it was always still going to come down with quarterback questions if they didn't go with a guy under center, which obviously they did not at 3. So, quote unquote, what about the quarterback is going to still be the lingering question. That's kind of what's still out there. And I got to ask you, do you think the Giants are done in this round with that question out there?
I think there is a possibility that they will trade up. I couldn't tell you where. I think they've got to get ahead of Pittsburgh, who I think is 21st, I believe. But yes. I have heard that they are making calls. It might, depending on how far up they go, we could be looking at definitely the second round pick this year, possibly one of their thirds. And again, it depends on how high they go. It's either going to be that first third or pick number 99. And if they really want to sweeten the pot, throw in a pick for next year, because now, remember, they're competing with the Cleveland Browns for a quarterback. Cleveland Browns just got this whole big haul to move down with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So the Giants might have to dig a little deeper into their assets to move up if they want a quarterback.
Yeah, Patty, this year we had a little bit more of that quarterback drama coming higher in the first round than maybe we did last year. But yeah, I got a sense that you're onto something, that maybe the drama, especially with those teams you mentioned, looking at where the Steelers are and kind of even some other teams that might be kind of looming in the outing, if you will, in the offing. Maybe the Giants are going to want to get ahead of them, figure that out fast. Appreciate the time, Patty, for continuing coverage of the New York Giants. Subscribe to Locked On Giants wherever you get your podcast. And for more on Abdul Carter, let's hear from Locked On Nittany Lions host Zach Sako, who spent a lot of time covering Carter up close.
Penn State defensive end Abdul Carter is the best overall prospect in this year's NFL draft. My name is Zach Sako, and I'm the host of Locked On Nittany Lions. What is a team getting in Abdul Carter? What makes him the best overall prospect? It's the versatility. It's the high motor. It's the football IQ. It's his game-changing ability. He can wreak havoc on any offense. Abdul Carter is the complete package. He checks off every single box. Do you have any injury concerns? Well, put those to rest, because Abdul Carter will play through just about any injury, as he did just that for Penn State late in the postseason. This guy does everything the team can ask him to. He can play defensive end. He can play linebacker. His specialty is just disrupting offensive game plans and getting after the quarterback. If you want someone that is relentless on the defensive side, if you want a franchise pass rusher for the future, you take Abdul Carter. For more coverage around Penn State football and other Penn State sports, make sure you subscribe to Locked On Nittany Lions on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast.